the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
On Wednesday, March 20th, Vice President and flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party era, Dr. Bawumia, and Ghana Chamber of Commerce and industry members ekokoye meeting na na ode to edwase ekwan a Ghana Revenue Authority a yitwa ne ti afre JRA kwan a won efa so ede tax no come say on a more serious note no aya na won harass business war Ghana because obi be bia adwuma na wokwa akwaje ne tax na obekwa to the extent say just okwa na akoto nipa kron store ni nyina say onya sika emfa ma metua tax na ontimi anya adwuma kra no asan anya bi e de aba betua tax no o de sansem we ebetu dwa no ade say JRA enso e de ba betu dwa say de Dr. Bawumia kan no anya ade say no kra won harass business bia na eno na yero set Tekper ede na nutum bi na o kire say asem we ade say den time kra no ye finance minister o kan wone NDC amanyoko no say kwan a ye fa so de tax no ade say emwa ema business entumpon e wo Ghana ha enti asem na Dr. Bawumia kan no ne kwan so no nam so mana na komyan so e kan ho asem yenko na yenkotie.
My regards and keep up the good work.
Right, thank you. So, Nana, well, we had a vice president. You've had the Honorable Tekper, and I said now we are going Estonia.
Yeah. Well, thank Sir Tekper too for bringing his view. Essentially, Sir Tekper has confirmed that there has to be a reform in our tax administration. There's no debate about that. We've called for broadening the tax base for a long time. We haven't found a way of broadening the tax base. We've called for the tax system to be simplified. Even today, there are many businesses who don't even understand the VAT.
It says you have created the complexity that you seek to. Not the vice president says you change. It says until you changed it with a cascading effect, it was simple, straightforward.
It's a Tekper saying that during his time as finance minister, there were no issues with tax administration. There were many issues with tax administration. So whether it is NPP or it is NDC, there's the need for tax reform. There's no debate about it. It is cumbersome. Some of the issues have been raised by the vice president, confirmed by Sir Tekper, that the targets are set on a narrow base. So the targets look overbearing. And so then they have to go and harass that narrow base instead of looking to broaden it. We talked about the harassment and the need to. What are some of the things that he said? But anyway, he confirmed that there's difficulty. And I am not interested in who caused some difficulty or who didn't cause some difficulty. We all know that every government will talk about tax administration. There's a vast room to improve the system. And I'm sure in President Mahama or the NDC manifesto, they will talk about tax reform. And every manifesto talks about tax reform, simplifying it and so on. You need to have a simple system, a system that will be easy to administer, and a system that will make it easy to comply. A lot of the issues that come up is because there are disputes between businesses and the GRA. That's what brings the harassment. Somebody is disputing the tax estimate that's given to them. And so in that dispute, GRA goes to sit in the shop and do this and do that. Both means that the system for auditing is also not refined. Bawumia has given his idea on reforming the system. For example, today as we speak, because of the Ghana card. 17 million Ghanaians have identities, tax identities. Because your Ghana card number is now your tax number too. So 17 million Ghanaians now have identities for tax identification. Only about 4 million pay taxes. The 13 or 12 million who don't pay can now be identified. If even 2 million of them are students, people above 18 with Ghana card, but they are students, people between 18 and say 21, 22. There's still another 10 million or so that can pay tax. This morning I have my painter is working in my house. He's never paid tax. I'm sure you have a plumber who comes to work in your house, an electrician that you call to come and do some work now. You pay them 100 cities, you pay them 200 cities. They never pay tax. How do we bring these people? Now the people can be identified because of the tax identification numbers provided by the Ghana card. You need to bring them into the tax system. Bawumia is saying we have to have a simplified, flat rate, easy to pay from your phone that can allow plumbers, electricians who are working in the informal sector to pay some amount, even if it's 50 cedis a month on their phones and so on. And that will bring about 10 million, 11 million people immediately into the tax debt. They talk about the amnesty to wipe the slate clean so we can start. I take the point that if you are going to do amnesty, then if you are not careful, between now, we are in March, and if somebody owes tax because they are in conflict with January, they will continue to store because they pray that next year they will have an amnesty. And that then means that.
In fact, it makes a key point about what happened in 2017. Yeah. We are not told that story. We did an amnesty. Mm-hmm. What happened? How many people complied? What did we save? How has it affected tax accountability and everything? Nobody has told anybody anything.
Yeah, but the fact that there hasn't been a narration of this doesn't mean that it's a bad policy.
No, but we need to know.
Yes, I agree.
So because it's the information that will tell us whether indeed
I'm saying I agree.
It's even something when
I agree
again,
because for the future, even for students, you need to know this was done, what was the effect. That one is true.
But policy makers to know whether even that route is appropriate.
Yeah. But you can't say that it's a bad policy because you don't have the information of the effect. So, but I agree that we need to know for our own policy and students and all of that. But because we don't have a lot of time, even VAT is misunderstood. And VAT has been reversed for a long time. We need to bring people to the tax net. We say we can identify them. It's possible to identify them. We need to make the system simple. So I'm happy with Tekper's contribution. The debate has to go on. All the parties will have tax reform and how they are going to reform and increase in their manifesto.
Right.
Bawumia, for example, says that even the public budget, the overestimation is because the public tries to take on too much. And so
if government.
Yes. If we can farm out big ticket commercial projects that are commercially viable. For example, the big highways. Really, we don't have money. There should be a rethinking of how to finance the big highways. Fortunately for us, these big highways are commercially viable. Accra Kumasi is commercially viable.
So where has been all this thinking?
Leadership.
Leadership.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because let me tell you something that happened in the 1990s when I was in Parliament, and the road minister that I was my very good friend, and of course the issue actually came on the floor, and I also had discussions with the road minister. Fortunately, he's passed. Salia. Yes. There was a project, and Salia had gone to Hong Kong and gotten some infrastructure investors. They were going to dualize into a 4-lane, Accra Kumasi. When they came and did the feasibility, and they counted the number of vehicles going and coming on a daily basis.
And the toll rate.
And the toll, well, they fixed the toll rate based on the over a 5-year period. They needed to take their money in 5 years or 10 years. So if in 5 years we're going to charge so much, toll based on and we estimate that the number of vehicles will grow by a certain percentage. So they are done out, but even the basic one was quite high. But at that time, and the president at that time said,
"How can you be charging this?"
Yes, and so it is leadership. Because look, if I can have a dual carriage to Kumasi, and I'm paying 50 cedis toll, it still makes sense. Because that 4-lane or 6-lane, now when I go to Kumasi, it takes 5 hours. This is a 260 kilometer journey. It should take 3 hours maximum. You are wrong. You heard Tekper. Randy asked him a direct question. Who sets the target? And Tekper told you two seconds ago that is GRA.
So he said two things. Tekper said two things. He said that one, GRA has a database. For example, income tax, corporate tax, and all those things. So the estimation is done on the basis of that data. Then he says that there's a second leg where the government then introduces tax handles and expects that it will make X, Y, Z from those tax handles. And then
to make up the tax.
Yes. So it is not government that sets target for GRA.
No.
If government decides to do ESLA, it has a revenue or e-levy. Government had an expectation that e-levy will bring X, Y, Z.
Yes.
He expects GRA to collect that money for it.
Yes.
So,
but it's GRA who looks at what the government is bringing and gives the estimate.
No, wait.
The government is not it. Government say, look, want to bring e-levy. These are
the Ministry of Finance has a tax policy unit.
They would then say that.
You heard the man say, if I already asked him a direct question, and he told me,
so you have two angles.
Yes.
So don't stick to one and do your mischief.
So you are sticking to one. Are you sticking to one?
Okay. See, we don't have time, so let's just finish.
GRA may give inputs because of their technical expertise, but the tax of a country is the business of government.
Yes.
Not so.
Yes.
And you, Bawumia, you are the vice president, chairman of the economic management team. You and your government have set taxes and then given the targets to GRA to go and collect.
But the man said the targets are set by GRA.
No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Now, you know what I found interesting? You know, in the budget statement that government changed the calculation of the VAT. And did the cascading. What is now complex? You know that the vice president accompanied the finance minister to parliament. That budget that changed, that made the VAT complex.
But why? He has to go to parliament. Why shouldn't he go? But he going to parliament doesn't mean.
Let me finish my small point.
But no, reform that statement.
I will not.
That you are making.
I will not. He didn't confirm anything. He didn't say it's GRA that estimate tax and impose it.
What did he say?
Now, you are the chairman of the economic management team. You have led this country to be shut out of the capital market as the chairman of the economic management team. Now, Ghana cannot go to the capital market.
Why is that so?
And the you know, there have been haircuts and the you. Then the same person turns round to now accuse GRA that they are harassing business people.
The business people say they are being harassed.
Yes, but who is allowing it? It's the government.
So he says he's called the Commissioner General to tell him.
And what has happened?
Nothing.
So if you are a vice president and the Commissioner General doesn't listen to you, who are you?
The harassment has stopped. No, it has stopped.
If it has stopped, you won't go.
No, it has stopped.
If it has stopped, but you see, in the first place, I don't agree that GRA was harassing anybody.
Okay. They were just doing their job.
They were just doing their job.
In fact, the GRA itself says that it doesn't harass people.
Today, they have issued a statement. You know. The second point is this. Randy, if the vice president, not Nsem-Pii, the vice president think that these things are bad, in your capacity as the chairman of the economic management team and the vice president, why don't you introduce or stop it now?
They can only recommend to the president and cabinet.
See, you are giving this vice president a lot of leeway.
A lot of what?
speaking about advice and what about this. You are the chairman of the economic management team, for Christ's sake.
In fact, if you go by his own assertions,
Yes.
where he says that John Mahama has been in charge of the economy for 8 years, first as chairman of economic management for 4 years, and then as vice president for 4 years, he doesn't help his cause when he says that he's a driver's.
That to you. Appointment as member of the, because my senior brother was going on about economic management. Appointment as member of the economic management team. This letter was written on the 23rd of November 2010. And it goes, just 2 paragraphs. Pursuant to Article 77/2, and as part of steps to enhance it, it has pleased His Excellency the President to appoint you as a member of the economic management team with effect from 1st June 2010. The second paragraph. The economic management team will be chaired by His Excellency the Vice President and shall advise Cabinet on policies as determined by the Chairman of Cabinet. The next paragraph. The economic management team shall report to the chairperson of the Economic Committee of Cabinet. So this business
Is that the same rendition in your appointment letter to the members of your economic management team?
Is it different?
No, I'm asking you.
It is. So this business about your chairman of
does the
Management
MPP
yeah.
have a chairman of economic something in your cabinet
Yeah.
different from the economic management team?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I don't think I should mention.
Oh, why? It's
I'll
not
tell
a
you.
secret. Who's that?
Well, because he hasn't been mentioned officially.
Yeah.
But I have heard that the cabinet's chairman of economic management is Alan Chirmantin.
Alan Chirmantin.
That's what I've heard. I stand for correction, but that's what I've heard.
Okay. But when the president was touting the economic success of his government,
Yeah.
he singled out
Bawumia.
Dr. Bawumia and his economic management team. He didn't mention
Alan Chirmantin.
Alan Chirmantin and some cabinet something.
Yes.
When
You would also agree
when
with that
Mr. Safumafu was also speaking about economic success, he also singled out the vice president and economic management team. When Dr. Bawumia himself was speaking about the success and mocking the NDC's team, he touted himself and the economic management team. Nowhere did anybody, in fact, like I said,
nobody do what?
did anybody mention this cabinet on this something?
Alan Chirmantin.
Now, like I said, Dr. Bawumia himself, when he was taking on President John Mahama,
Yeah.
he said that President John Mahama has been in charge of the economy for 8 years.
Yeah.
And he went on to say 4 years as chairman of economic management team and 4 years as president.
Let me tell you the bottom line of all of this. The bottom line is a very simple one. Bawumia has never been president.
Oh.
So all of this, he is responsible for that. No, he has never been
Who
president.
says Bawumia has been a president?
Can I?
Nana,
What he is contesting for
Yes.
is the office of president.
Yes. No, but then I said
So
he.
this business
No, I'm saying that
is in charge of
Nana-
that, is in charge
Nana,
of
he himself
Yeah.
said that President Mahama had been in charge of the economy for 8 years, and then he broke it down to say 4 years as chairman of economic management and 4 years as president. Didn't he know what you're talking
Bawumia
about?
asked questions of Emi Sata, the vice president.
Yes. Why did he? Why did he answer this?
Emi Sata said he's been asked not to respond.
No.
No, why did he
Why
ask
did he ask
him
the
that?
question?
Why did he
Because
ask
that's
him?
his colleague. That's his
His
opposite-
colleague?
That's his opposite member in the NDC.
That's why he asked him the question.
But why not? This is the vice presidential candidate, and this is the vice president. That's his co-equal. But the bottom line is that whenever
How is he?
We need to go.
listen, let me tell you again.
Then I would
No
have
matter what you say, you can put everything on the head of Bawumia.
Yes.
But you would agree that he's never been president.
Nana, let me read this to you as we go.
He's
Nana,
never been
Oh,
president.
my friend.
Mahama has been
Nana-
president.
My friend.
Nana,
Whether
you
you
see,
like it or
Nana,
not.
we're going. Let me
Randy,
read this to
Randy.
you. So Makodoboafo in the States, he says that, please tell Nana Komia that we're withholding taxes